Good morning and welcome to Namaste Today, a sunny and optimistic way to begin your day. I'm Christopher Witecki, your humble host and spiritual life coach. And this audio blogcast is for Wednesday, February 15th, 2017. Welcome back, my friend. Namaste. If you're feeling impatient and out of time today, you're right on track with the universe. Step 27 rules the day. And in these high vibrations of Aquarius, it may trigger a little anxiety. In today's zodiac weather, I'll talk you through today's vibration. And later in our tea time, part 2 of our 4-part series on taking back your power. Today's key word is detachment. But first, let's take a look at today's moods and your zodiac weather. This zodiac weather is for Wednesday, February 15th, 2017. And my prediction for the global consciousness is sunny and aggressive. It is a Mars-ruled day, and Mars is in Aries, pushing for us to move forward and move the story forward. And with the moon in Libra, your patience may be thin, and so may be your tolerance. Let's take a look at the planets. Well, my friend and Earth neighbor, we are coming to the end of Aquarius, which means it's time to vibrate where you belong. It's time to walk the talk. It's time to make your move. It's time to put your plan into action. So whatever your decisions have been about where you feel you belong or don't belong, today is definitely the day to make your move. But you want to be careful because timing is everything. The architecture of Step 27 describes how the timing should work. The 2 is I feel. So you don't want to take action until you're feeling it. Don't push yourself to take action before you feel it, because that can result in injury or result in things not going the way you want. So super important to be in touch with the I feel, Step 2. Then there is the 7, I sense. And the I sense is a little bell that goes off in your head or a little moment where you realize this is your time. And so it's important to really be looking out for and observing for when both you feel it and you sense it. And so although today may feel impatient, the word today is to be patient and wait for that golden opportunity. Now, sometimes what jumps the gun on a day like today is our mouth or our mind. Mercury today is at Step 12 Aquarius, and that literally means be mindful of your feelings. In fact, today you are naturally wired your thoughts and feelings. The only question is, will you be mindful of your feelings, or will your mind react to your feelings without you being aware? So it's important to be mindful of your feelings today, and it's also important to keep an open mind, to just see what can happen, unlimited possibilities. Don't put any intellectual restrictions on your day. Now, tipping the scales literally is the moon in Libra today. The moon is in the late degrees, chapter 3 of Libra, the third decan. And what this means is the moon will cross over Jupiter retrograde during the course of the day. So as you are trying to quietly wait for the right moment to make your move, the universe is literally expanding your feelings, expanding your sense of connection. And in a way, you are emotionally affirming that you're getting what's fair. In fact, you may not even want to make your move until you have emotionally processed what's fair or not fair to you, because whatever this day should end up as, it should be a fair deal for you. So be clear and process that. Likely you're going to learn something today. Your emotions are going to teach you something about what's fair or about what you have been aiming for as fair. So again, reflection to yourself and paying attention to your emotions is optimal, but you're likely going to learn something interesting emotionally about yourself by the end of the day. Now, adding to this teeter-totter problem, Jupiter is opposing Uranus in Aries. What this means is, emotionally, you are measuring up to what's fair and whether or not you've met these benchmarks of fair. But on the other side, Uranus in Aries is pushing you to be stronger. So in some cases, you need to stand up. In some cases, you need to open up. It is this balancing act. Uranus in Aries is helping us get stronger now. Also, it is pushing you to refine your character. Uranus is at Step 21. And so this is likely some sort of a high-stroke character refinement, of your strength and whatnot. And again, what's this all from? This is all from making your move, going for where you belong, aiming for the dimension that you should be on. And so in this way, you're really mastering action here. You're going for a master stroke. And since you are going for a master stroke because you are aiming high, be easy on yourself, okay? Self-compassion is absolutely key. Now with Venus and Mars conjunct in Aries, and in the early degrees of Aries, I've said it before, I'll say it again, with all this activity, to jump for a new place where you belong, you are in fact birthing, or at least conceiving, a new ego. This is a new identity that you haven't had. It's the latest and the greatest, the new and improved you. And Venus today is at step 8, which means actually that as you take your master stroke today, part of what fuels you is what you are no longer. Someone said to me, I thought negative isn't good in manifestation. On the contrary, the negative is what you stand on. What you know you're not is what is your foundation. And from there, you can be anything, right? So today, part of the ingredient is knowing what you're not. And at Mars at step 13, Aries, that means that there is breakthrough about to happen any moment. The chick is about to hatch out of the egg, so to speak. And so there might be this feeling of nervousness, like a teenager in a swim meet or something, and that's to be expected and to be okay. That's because you are literally conceiving of a new ego. You're new at this, and it is really just our first stroke of this new identity and new character. So it's an interesting day. Do not forget to ground, though, however, my friend, because with all this Martian energy, which is Mars energy, really the best thing to do is to connect to your ground, take off your shoes, connect to Mother Earth, do some breath work, and if you do that, you'll set yourself up for success in whatever goes down today. And with those ideas in mind, go steep yourself some tea. It's time for our daily tea time. Hello, my friend, and welcome to our tea time. Today's tea time topic is part 2 in a 4-part series about taking back your power. Yesterday, I was talking about the idea of commitment and how often we can make commitments to things in the outer world that take away our power, and we also can fail to commit and follow through with ourselves, which makes us feel powerless. And so commitment is one of the secrets to feeling in your personal power, knowing where your commitments lie and if you can stand up and back them up. Today I'm going to talk about another secret ingredient to personal power, and that is the idea of detachment. Detachment is step 4, or Aquarius energy, which is what we're in right now, called I belong. Where we belong is directly related to where we detach. In fact, the energy is kind of bipolar that way. As long as you belong somewhere, you're detached to something else. The two work together. But many people have a real difficult time detaching. Detaching is where people melt down on the inside and they lose their sense of personal power. They literally take things too personally, not because it is personal, but because they can't detach. They can't see the big picture and see how it may not be a personal to them. And they literally can't detach from the issue itself. Some people have a hard time detaching from the outcome, the way it's going to turn out. Some people have a hard time detaching from trying to control the situation. Some people are attached to guarantees, like they have to have a guarantee, and so they can't detach and just see what will happen. And so the power of detachment really turns into the power of codependency or not. If you can't detach from a situation, you'll find yourself codependent. You'll find yourself having to rely on that other situation for you to feel strong, to feel in power, or to feel like you can survive. Now, Master Buddha is actually the first spiritual teacher that began to teach me the idea of detachment. And Buddhism very much is that. They teach a lot of conscious awareness to where you are detaching from physical reality, you are detaching from emotion, you are detaching from ego, and you practice this detachment if you study Buddhism. And there are many Eastern philosophies that teach these principles. This is literally how people end up being able to walk across coals, or hot coals because they can detach literally from the pain in their brain of that situation. So detachment is an ancient art and it's a skill. And because it's Aquarius energy, it really is about human mastery, the age of Aquarius, where we're going. So don't be hard on yourself if you have a hard time detaching. Now I'm going to give you the Sensei secret to detachment, and it's not what you would think. It's actually attachment. In fact, controlling what you attach yourself to is your power to detach from a situation. I've been talking about this in the topic of taking back our power. Many of us are emotionally attached to certain outcomes in the outer world. And for whatever reason, we have attached ourselves. In other words, that must turn out so that we can feel good too. So we become codependent to world events and codependent to things that are literally outside of our power. That is maybe a young way of living as a human. Now, the truth is that we want attachment. We want attachment to love. We want attachment to security. We want attachment to spiritual confidence. What we want to do is replace our attachments to things outside of ourselves with attachments to things inside of ourselves, to become attached to my heart. So, for instance, I can detach from what's going on out there in the world politically because I am attached to my heart. I can detach from the darkness or the fear-mongering I see going on because I am attached to inner peace. And so to detach means we really need to have a new bottle that the baby can hold on to, but that codependence can become codependence with yourself, interdependence, and codependence with Holy Spirit. That's the other aspect of this too. I think that's what Buddha ultimately is teaching in his teachings, is to detach from this physical world and attach to your spiritual inner world. It's the world you can control. It's the world you do have the keys to the kingdom over. The other reason why detachment is important is for manifestation and abundant purposes. If you are manifesting something, there comes a point when you let it off into the universe and you have to detach. The reason why you have to detach is you have to allow the energy or the spell or the product or the creation to bounce off of other people. And it has to bounce off of other people without your fingers attached to it. If it doesn't, it can't build a manifestation, it can't law of attract, and it can't become abundant because it can't become viral if you're hanging and holding on to the energy. So detachment is also important for our personal success because if we're going to play co-creation with the universe, when it's not our turn to hit the ball, we've got to detach from the game and let the game progress. Now, as far as attachment-detachment philosophies are concerned, I believe one should always be attached to a feeling, not an idea. So it's fine to attach to feeling good, it's fine to attach to feeling peace, but being attached to it a certain way or under a certain word or anything like that is actually limited. And so when you attach yourself to limited things like words, you only limit yourself. Feelings can expand forever and ever. I also believe to be attached to experience versus being attached to outcome. So detach from the outcome, attach to the experience. Enjoy the experience, dive into it, love it, embrace it, insist on it. But how it turns out, I think that's the best way of using detachment for your personal power. And it's probably obvious, but let's just say it. It's important to detach from judgment. It's important to detach from other people's judgment. And it's more important to attach to your feeling of integrity or spiritual peace than it is to attach to any of these things of what people will think. So like yesterday, I want to share a little step astrology as I close here about the principles that have to be included with something about attachment and detaching. And this has to do with belonging or not belonging, step 4, Aquarius. So to understand where we belong is to understand what we should attach to and what we should detach from. And just like before, there are 4 steps that must be answered before you can understand where you belong. First is step 0. You must protect whatever time and space you are living right now and protect yourself and make sure this is safe. You cannot attach to something that's not safe, that's not protected. So there has to be protection in place for you to feel safe to attach and detach. And when you detach, you also need protection in place because you want to put a wall up against to what you're not anymore and close out that world. Step 1, I love. In order to attach to something, you really have to love it. You have to love it to be attached to it. If you don't love it and you're attached to it, you're setting yourself up for a lot of unhappiness and disappointment. So it must pass the step 1 litmus test. Your heart has to be there to belong there. Step 2, do you feel it? Does something feel wrong? Step 2 is I feel. So you must feel this all resonates to attach to this. And you must also feel this all resonates to detach from that. And then finally, step 3, I believe. Your whole consciousness, your collective consciousness of yourself, which is your belief structure, I believe, you have to believe in attaching to this principled idea and believe in detaching from the other. If your belief consciousness is not behind it, you're not going to be able to attach, and you're not going to be able to make a clean cut and detach from what you don't want to be connected to. So, in this day 2 of taking back our personal power, take a look at your day today and see what is worth being attached to and what you should just detach from. And notice how you feel when you do detach. Once you disconnect that cord, you are free, you are independent, and you are in your personal power. It's time to take your power back. All right, my friend, it is always a pleasure to be of soul service to you. I will remind you that I'm having a cool reading special right now. If you buy a 30-minute reading, you will get a free 15-minute reading. And one client asked, hey, can you buy 2 of these and put them together into an hour? Absolutely, you totally can. I'm totally fair that way with math. If you have any questions, we have customer service links on our site at seriousjoy.tv. I hope you have a fabulous day out there. Be sure to listen to your feelings and your senses before you jump out into traffic or make your move. Remember, I love you, and live, love, be.
Live, love, be.